Good morning, guys. Rick Shaw here on the 23rd of April, 2022. Saturday, lots of guys working though. Getting the houses going, beautiful. Puffy clouds today. We've got a nice breeze and a nice hot sun. Feels great. Glad to get out in the sun. Yesterday I did got a little suntan working on the bike. I moved the handlebars back so that I'm sitting more with my elbows more at my side. Watched a movie one time, old Benjamin Button, and old Brad Pitt was riding an old motorcycle, and it just looked really comfortable to me. So I got the bike adjusted. I had to move some more cables so they wouldn't be strangled. Not really a hard job. It wasn't too bad at all. I just took the starter one I had to take off and just refeed it through, so that fixed it up. But tomorrow we're gonna have a live 7 a.m. Philippine time if the power don't go out. Yesterday here at the house, the power was constantly going off. I mean, for like an hour and a half at a time. It was just on and off all day. We've been having quite a few power outages, and it's just pretty annoying. I always laugh at this Battle-Neck. They got one job. They got one job to provide power, and they can't do it. It's like our water company. They got one job, provide water, can't do that either. So it's just how silly to me. But I was watching. I couldn't believe it. I was watching Biden. He was giving this dang speech about how he's going to make all the military vehicles green. Yeah. So what happens when the bombs explode? There's going to be no smoke. I mean, if anybody can't see, he's deliberately trying to destroy the United States. I mean, look at all the stuff they did with the military people. They got rid of a lot of them that wouldn't take the vax. And there's a lot of them that got it are getting sick. I seen on the one aircraft carrier 3 guys died. They won't say why or what cause or anything like that, but I'm starting to wonder. When they don't say why, it seems to me like, is it because of this thing that they're making people get? So it's not too good. But yeah, it gets me. But the other thing too that I wanted to mention, I saw a little article on this, and it's definitely right. They're making such a big fuss over Russia and Ukraine. Just a huge fuss, but they don't say a single thing about the displaced people and all the hundreds and hundreds of thousands that have been butchered in Ethiopia, Nigeria, Congo, and Sudan. And that's not something that happened a long time ago. It's happening now. So what's the deal? No news companies are carrying it. What do they care? Those are brown people. It's just like George Carlin did in his skit a long time ago about what do they care? The brown people. But it's a real shame how pretty that is over there. We do get a nice view. I don't know why they're not really doing anything on houses on this section up here or here. But we see there's another house. Another house is for rent up here. There's a few of them in here. It's not too bad of a place. I think I did call on one. I'd have to look at the video to see what they wanted for it, but not too bad for the rents in here when you think about it. That's one thing compared to the U.S. guys, is rents here. It runs the gamut of what you want to pay. I mean, you can pay a whole boatload if you want. We know a guy who's paying $30,000 a month. And he did like a quick video of his place, and I was like, oh, why would you pay that? You can get a much nicer place for, a third. It's just absolutely ridiculous. We rented a whole house. That was $10,000, an entire house, and our electric bill was pretty low there. And of course, we had electric all the time. Our water bill was pretty low, and we had lots of water pressure. Now here we're paying 3 times for the electric. We had 1 month where it went up double than that. back down. But and it's not on all the time. It's a horrible service here. It's absolutely horrible service. I know I worked high voltage for a long time, and when they're shedding, when they're shedding power, they got these rolling outs. But here, there's no, a lot of times no warning. Just shut it off. They're going to do some work. They'll shut it off. We do get warnings sometimes, but I do not like this electric company, and they're super expensive. We actually found some old bills, and we're looking at the kilowatt hour charges. It's way higher here. It seems like everything in this Lipa area is so much higher. Even gas. My buddy came from San Jose, and it was 20 pesos more per liter here than it was there. And when we went back to visit, it was about 12, what we saw. But then I had the thing for the SNR, which gave me another, it's less now, a few pesos. So we filled up over there. And that's kind of silly. We're farther from the port, farther from the refinery, and the gas is cheaper there. I'm not getting it. I'm just not getting it. So we keep, sadly, we're keeping the tank low enough to get us there. Like when we went last time, I put a couple hundred pesos in it just to get us there so we can go over there and buy our gas. Because when I got the car, we paid $2,000. Dealer filled it up. They gave me a coupon and filled it up. It was $2,000 because it was dead empty. And then at one point it went down to like $1,200, and now it's way back up. Even with the discount I got and the cheaper price, it was still around $2,300. And I always fill it up as soon as I see the light come on. I don't want to suck anything from the bottom of the tank. I think I mentioned it in a video before. This car, to get to the fuel pump and inside the tank is super easy. It's just right underneath the seat, the mid rows of seats. There's a carpet pulls out of the way. You take the whole top thing off. It's just, I've had fuel pumps where you had to drop the tank, and just a royal pain in the butt. But not this one. It's real easy to work on. Seems everything in here, when you look at this baby, under the hood, everywhere, it's just super easy to get to. The only thing I wish that they would do, and if I could find an adapter, if I could find a dang adapter, I would do it. I haven't found one yet. I've seen them on Lazada, but they're not really saying what I want to do. But I want the oil filter to go up and down, where it screws on the top like this, so when I'm changing my oil, I can pour oil in the filter. Right now I can get about half in there. Half of the oil in there, even though they're changing it down there. I tell them, hey, I want to see you do it. You can stand by the window. And those guys are cool down there. I kind of like that dealership. I had a little bit of a tough time with the service manager when I was going with synthetic oil. And he was giving me this real hard time, saying there's no warranty unless you use Honda oil and blah, 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 and just was a real pain in the ass. But I said, I don't care, I'll sign a thing. This is what I'm using. I'm going to use this in the car. Probably going to be my last car. I hope I can get another motorcycle. I still don't know what I want here. I'm waiting to see what's coming out. Plus, I'm waiting to see what's going to happen with the government. But there may, also there may be no place to run if these New World Order guys get their way. Where are you going to go? Where the heck are you going to go? They're just they're pushing this thing. I don't think they're stopping. I really don't. They're still putting out little feelers. I just seen a thing down in Dumaguete. There's no active cases and all this kind of stuff, but they're saying, oh, it's because it had a much higher vax rate. So they're going to use that. Is that fake news or not? Who knows what anybody's going to do with these numbers? You look at all this stuff in Shanghai. Okay, I love you too, buddy. My little handsome buddy. But they're saying that they retested the whole town. That's why they had to shut it down. And it was like 99% of the people were asymptomatic. And they were doing it for the test. And you see, they do anal swab tests, and they test the fish, and tearing up the gardens. They're destroying the food, and they're doing it in the States too. Look at all these unexplained fires at these food processing plants that's happening right now, and all the chickens getting killed. They're destroying it. They got farmland. They had a big thing on where you could get out of farming. They'll give you this huge amount of money for you to get out of farming, but you got to give up your land. You know, I like that on Old Brother, Where Art Thou? You ain't no kind of man if you ain't got no land. You know, these farmers, I know it's tough for them guys, but I've known farmers. They go all year without a dime. You know, and they got to watch the prices and everything. It's tough business, that's for sure. But they claim it's the breadbasket of the world, and they're destroying it. You know, and you got all these other countries that produce food. They're gonna make a famine. This is all biblical, guys. All this stuff is biblical. It seems to be coming to pass right before our eyes. And whether you're a religious person or not, look at Revelation and look how the seals are getting broken. You know, which seal are we in now? You know, I think there are a couple of them passed already. So, and anybody out there who's a better Bible scholar, take a look. I like to watch Nelson Waters. He seems pretty sharp. Gene Kim, I watch him. There's another guy, I think his name's Booker or something. He's always in front of a blackboard with a white shirt. You know, kind of. He's pretty good. I forget his name though. But it's happening, guys. This is happening in our lifetime. You know, I don't know. I haven't seen anything with the Antichrist coming to pass. But you look at Obama on there. You look at Biden too. Those are different guys. If you start looking real close, you know, they're different. And then you look at a couple of them with Obama. Some of those are different. You know, some of the pictures I've seen, it's not the same guy. No, Michelle's always been the same guy. They haven't changed that one. Oh my. But that's where we're at. That's where we're at today. Here, I'm going to pull the cover off and I'll show you how I put my bars on the bike. It was really comfortable. I took a big ride yesterday on it after I changed them, and I really liked it. My wife and I actually went for a little bit of a ride, and it was a lot better. It was comfortable for me to sit on it. I always liked the bikes. I never liked forward controls. I like my feet underneath me so I could take the pressure off my back. I like a nice big seat. But we'll get this nice cover off. This is my 99 peso cover I got from Lazada. One of my subscribers said he bought some. I'd be worried about these in the wind because they would get battery took a dump. That was I don't usually like to run them out, but that's what happened. But here's what I did with this. The mirrors actually are working good. I put them down like this, and I'm getting good view in the back. And I laid that handlebar back a little bit. Now when I'm sitting on this, I can actually look how I can keep my arms. This is kind of nice. It clears my legs all the way lock to lock. So that's kind of good. And the mirrors, when I have them down like this, I get a pretty good view behind me still, which is kind of nice. So, but I'm gonna try it like this for a little while. I had to take this one off. It was going up over the top and it would have been strangled, so I just fished it through underneath. These ones are all pretty good now. They're not. These ones don't move. They don't go to the carb. They stay at the front wheel. So they're not. That's not going to be any big problem. But I had to also to keep the strangulation from here. I moved this in, and then I wanted this in also. So what I had to do, I had to drill another locator hole in it so that I could scoot it in, just like a quarter inch hole, because I didn't want to cut the thing off. I don't want that moving. You know, this factory doesn't want it moving, neither do I. But I think it looks kind of cool, and it's very comfortable to ride now. You know, I did put a few miles on it yesterday, and I just love this little tiny bike. I think it's for the money, it's a great little machine. I'd recommend them. I mean, there's a few things you can do. Like, I think one of the things I'm going to do, I want to get that seat. I want to raise that seat up to about here and bring it straight back. I'd even like to stop it right here because if anybody sits back here on this bike behind that axle, my front end gets squirrely as heck. I don't like that. So I might maybe even have them take this off here. It's a plastic seat pan. I think that could be done easily. And the other thing I wouldn't mind doing is lengthening this front end a little bit. Give it maybe 4 inches, raise it up a little more, make a bracket for here, see if I can get this up. I got plenty of room on that swing arm, and see if I can get that up just to get the bike up in the air a little bit without losing my center stand. I would have to. I've done it before on other bikes, and I had to extend kickstands or what have you, but this thing has got the drums all the way around. I think that looks a lot better than disc brakes. The way I drive, I don't have to have the disc brakes. I've never had a problem with any of the drums I've ever had. They always stop me in plenty of time. But when I ride, I'm looking way forward. I'm not looking at the ground in front of me. I'm looking way forward for problems. I'm watching my mirrors really good, you know, because I don't want to get squished. I really don't. But that would be one thing I'd love to see an option. I love the Royal Enfield 650, not the Cafe Racer one, just the standard. I think it's the Interceptor. I love that one, but I sure would love to see drums front and rear on it. That would just clean that bike up so well. You lose your anti-lock and all that, but I drove for years and years, never had it. You know, when it's slippery or there's oil, I'm watching for that. I watched a buddy of mine right in front of me. We were coming up to some sand at an intersection, and he fell down twice. A truck came by and dumped some sand, and when he was going to stop, his front end locked up and he fell down at very low speed, and we stood him up. And he's laughing. He thought it was funny, and I'm like, you know, I saw the sand. You know, I was going around it and going slow. And then when he took off, he hit the gas and spun the back out and right in the sand, and boom, down he went again. And I was like, you know, it can happen quick, fast, in a hurry. You have to be really careful when you're riding, especially in this country. I mean, I am not kidding you. You really got to keep your head on a swivel. I recommend, if, you know, like one guy said, oh, you know, I've never really rode, but, you know, when I get there, I'd like to get a bike. And I'm like, you better, you know, be careful. Be very, very careful on these roads here. Some of the best riders I ever seen are Filipino riders, but also some of them do really dangerous maneuvers when you're riding. You know, when they pass you, and there's like this much room between yours and their bike. That's why I still like narrow. And you know, it is nice. It is nice if these are low enough. I can get, you know, if I see somebody come and look like they're going to hit, I can, you know, keep the steering from turning. So. But that's how she goes. Today we're going to go do all the air pressures on all the bikes, and we're going to do the chain maintenance on the pedal bikes. I like to use WD-40 on them, you know, so it's not so nasty if I use regular oil. The bike I'm using oil now, the old synthetic motor oil. But it's a little bit if it flies off. It's no big deal. Just wipe it down. You can see a little bit's on my rim. It's no big deal, but I used to know a guy that he would every day he had some kind of this spray on chain stuff, and the back of his bike was just black because it was in the desert and dusty. And you know, I think you can go too far with that. It doesn't need it that often. You can hear it when it wants oil. It's going to let you know. Now the other day I was riding it. I went to take off, and I said, oh, I could hear the chain. So I went ahead and came back. Put it on the center stand. I put a couple drops of oil on it, shut the chain right back up, and away we went. You know, it only takes a minute. And it's nice to have the WD-40 for the spray, but it doesn't last as long as the oil. The oil seems to go much longer. And then, of course, having a DID chain on here. You can buy them on Lazada. They're cheap. All this X-ring, O-ring, and all this stuff like that. You keep them oiled, they're going to last just as long. You know, sometimes I wonder if that's a sales gimmick. You know, and here, there's, you know, when you hit rainy season and people are riding the bikes all the time, I see people riding bikes where their chain is just complete rust. You know, they don't even care. Chain maintenance, I've seen some where the chain slap on there is a good 6 inches, and they don't care. They just keep riding. They just keep going. But I had chains on a lot of bikes. I like the shaft drive better. And my absolute favorite was on the Harleys, and the Buell was the belt drive. I had no problems with the belts. Now my Harley, I did have a problem with the belt on the Harley because it just sort of chewed it up. It chewed the belt up because it had so much power. And then what happened was there was another company that made a belt. Can't remember the name of it. Might have been Banks, I'm not sure. That was built for this. The drag guys use it. I actually went back to the company that helped me build the bike, and I said, you know, the belt. And the guy said, yeah, we probably should have offered you the belt, but you were talking about moving your swing arm back, so we didn't say anything. But I had a belt put on there that stayed on it the whole length of the bike and didn't get chewed up or anything like that. Hope you guys don't mind. I do like to go on about the motorcycle because I absolutely love bikes. I can't see myself not riding, and that's actually a pretty nice looking bike. I wanted to get the blue one. They didn't have a blue one, and they had this black one. I thought, oh, okay, it looks pretty good. I always most of my bikes I had were I had Hondas that were turquoise and Suzukis that were maroon. I actually had a Suzuki Marauder that was the most beautiful color with the two-tone on the tank. It was actually good. And what we did to it was we put, a buddy of mine was an airbrusher, and it only had a sticker on the tank that said Suzuki. And so we got that off. I got some orange oil, and I got that all off, and we cleaned it down. I mean, we really cleaned that tank, and we scuffed it up because he did a whole paint job on the sides of the tank. And we found like a big script of Harley Davidson that they put on their bikes, and he copied that. But instead of putting Harley Davidson, he put Hardly Davidson and a little tiny A, Hardly a Davidson. And I actually had people, oh yeah, it was leak oil. But that's Suzuki. I have to tell you about that Suzuki Marauder. I never had a bike that had, well, I had a Suzuki 850 that blew on the day I got it. That's why I'm really hard pressed to want to get the SV 650. And then that Marauder, it kept eating chains and sprockets right off the bat, and I wasn't hammering the dang thing. And the back tire was getting ate. I don't know if it was jocked from the time it was new, and the other thing, it would backfire through the carb. And the last time it backfired through the carb, I went in to like trade it in. They didn't want to give me nothing for it. The salesman was actually saying these things are junk. They're absolute junk. They didn't want it. They didn't want to give me anything for it. So, and I kind of impulse bought that. I was going to buy another bike, and then I saw it, and I was going, man, that's absolutely a beautiful bike, and it's not a Harley. That was in the days I didn't want nothing to do with a Harley. And it was a good-looking bike, so I bought it, and I'll be honest with you. The last time it backfired through the carb, it started on fire. I didn't shut the gas off or nothing. I just got off to the side. It was at a big intersection. Nobody came out with a fire extinguisher, and I just let it burn. And then the insurance paid for it, which was really cool because they gave me a whole bunch more than what I had into it. So, but that's why I'm kind of, I love that SV 650. I've looked at it about 5 or 6 times, but I sure would hate to get burnt. You know, I see a lot of vlogs where that's like the big messenger bike over in Europe. You know, they use those things quite a lot, and they put hundreds of thousands of miles on them, and they just go and go and go. But I've been burnt by Suzuki, and Suzuki, when my 850, it popped. The time attain jumped, interference motor chowed the whole thing up. The case was even split because it just came apart inside, and Suzuki would not warrant it. They said abuse. That's what they told me. They would not warrant it. And finally, the dealer said, you know what, I'm going to take care of you. And he gave me, he had to put a different, he didn't have a 850 motor because it was like a leftover bike. I always looked for deals, and it was a 3-year-old bike that had been sitting in the dealership. Brand new, but sitting there. So he didn't have that motor, couldn't get one, so he wound up, he put an 1100 on there, but I left the 850 badges on it, and that was a pretty speedy bike. Now they said that was a bike that would do you know, 200 miles an hour. But I actually had a buddy that had a radar. He had been a deputy sheriff for a long time on a stretch of the highway, and I said, hey, I want to go past here. Can you shoot me and tell me how fast I'm going? Because my speedometer is saying 190 something, and I had her wound up. It was running good. It was a cold day, so it's getting plenty of cold air. And I ran that thing up as fast as I could, and he says, nah, you're doing about 163. And it was showing 195 that day. Yeah. So their speedometers are messed up. This one, I don't know how good it is. I would have loved to have a tack, but you can hear the motor. So, but I'm gonna let you go. I get on the bikes, guys. I just don't want to stop. So, but I love them. I hope to get one more. I still don't know. I wish that Honda would make a CRF 400L. Then it would be a no-brainer for me. And then I would have to have a little extra money to get the suspension done. I've sat on some of these bikes, and I put my weight on them, and I'm squishing them way past. You know, you're only supposed to have a certain percentage when you sit on them to squish, and I'm blowing through half the suspension travel just sitting on it. They're not made for, you know, 250-pound rider. And then of course, if I get my sweetie on the back, this one here, the back is fine. But the front, I can easily bottom that front out. You know, very, very simple. I just hit a minor bump and it's bottomed out. So that's got it. Those springs in there have to be done. But I'd like to do it when I put in the extension, if I can even get that done here. You know, in the States, it's real easy. You could buy those parts from anywhere and put them in, and you're good to go. And I would like to also have those little, I used these before, drop-in emulators. You drill out your hole that's already in there. I had to do that. They give you good instructions, and then these emulators sit on the bottom, and they got the regular shims, and they really fix up your suspension cheap. You know, you can go spend big bucks on a suspension, but you know, I've seen guys that buy that SV 650 and they put the 600 front end on it, which, wow, that would be really cool. But you can almost do the same thing with an emulator for a tenth of the price. You know, that's not a big deal. So here I go. See, I told you guys, diarrhea of the mouth when it comes to bikes. So I'm going to let you go, and I hope everybody has a good rest of the month. We got the live tomorrow. We'll just be chit-chatting about whatever you guys want to chit-chat about, and looking forward as long as the power don't go out. You know, if you don't see me there, it's because the power's out, and I can't do anything on my SIM card. It's not fast enough to handle a live. It just won't work. I actually tried it. I tried to do a short live one day, and it just doesn't. It buffers and goes off and all kinds of stupid stuff. So there's the little mama kitty. Don't like shakes around her or the babies. I don't know where the babies went. Oh, they're back there. There's all the babies. See that? Little cuties. We don't like her in the house, though. So I'm gonna let you guys go. You all take care of each other. Don't forget to pray for each other, and ask the good Lord for help in this big mess that's going on in the world right now. We sure do need it. Without Him, we're nothing, guys. So this is Rick Shaw out.